times you put me through. I give it up to you. I do it all for you. Maybe this feeling's overdue.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Car Code channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below for new car videos every single week. Today I've got a really exciting video because I'm going to be doing a review of my very own Volkswagen Golf Mark 7.5. This model is the SE Nav model and it is finished in the turmeric yellow paint. Same paint colour that was in my T-Rock Cabriolet video. You can watch that in the pop-up van.
Come to you, come to you.
So if you notice something uncommon about this Golf, well that'd be because it's got 3 doors. It's a completely different body style to what you can get now. You cannot get a 3-door Golf anymore and I think it's such a shame. There has been a few issues over the months that I've had this car with the 3 doors. I have a little bash. The door acts like a sail when the wind catches it, and so you've got to be wary of that, as well as the doors are absolutely massive. I mean, look at that, huge. So in small parking spaces, they're not great, but I'm lucky that I could just sort of creep out. But if you're a bigger person, then maybe the 3 doors not for you. Doesn't it just look great in the 3 doors? I mean, especially with the 16-inch alloy wheels, it sort of shrinks the car a little bit and makes it look a bit more compact than it actually is. I really wanted a Beetle, but there wasn't any Beetles available when I was buying. So this is the next best thing in a funky colour with the 3 doors. It's absolutely perfect for me. As you can see, my car here has the halogen lights with the LED daytime running lights down here. Many people don't like the look of mismatching these, but I think as they're all in one unit, it actually looks quite nice and I can instantly recognise that someone's got their SE Golf on the road. And that's no bad thing. It's not like someone's got the demand is going to continue for these cars and more people will be getting them because they look really smart and pretty timeless, I'd say, on the road. Now, I like how these are different to these. I know many people don't. They want these to be the same colour as these, but I like the warm light emitted from these, even if it is not a massive emittance of light. But I don't drive much in the night, so it's fine with me. As standard on the Golf 7.5, all cars came with LED rear tail lamps, which look really nice, and they're in this dark cherry red as well, which really harks back to the Mark V GTI. And I just really like how they've done this, and they've sort of got rid of this the box that was on the Mark 7, which is quite an iconic design, so it is quite a big step from that, but it's the same shape obviously because it is just a facelift. But for a facelift, it's a pretty major one in my opinion. So Volkswagen sets the class standard for boot space. This one here has got 380 litres. As you can see, it's got plenty of room for all my rubbish in there. And it's also, I've put this boot line in here. It's really good. Space saving spare wheel under there as well. It's not a power tailgate, but it's a very light one and it's really not very tall. You can grab here like there if you need to. So it's pretty easy and it's not heavy at all. So like I mentioned in my T-Rock convertible review, I really loved how that car had the interior colour inside. This car doesn't. It has this sort of anthracite grey colour in it and then this sort of dark grey all around, fascia all around. I like this much more than the piano black, which is in the GT and GT Edition. It can be a bit hard to clean all these nooks and crannies. You can get a lot of fingerprints, so you just got to clean them regularly. It's not the best light to film in as it's going dark now. Driving this car is easy. Once you get used to it, it's easy. The 6 gears helps a lot though, because on the dual carriageway, I always go in gear 6. This car also has like quite a low gear ratio, so it wants to keep its revs low, so it wants to change up quite quick. So that's quite easy actually. So you don't have to really because sometimes in some cars you've got to really build the revs up and it takes a while. In this car you can put your foot down a little. I've never put my foot flat to the ground in this car because it really goes. It's got 125 horsepower, the 1.4 litre, this one, but it goes like stink. Considering some of the earlier GTIs only had 150 horsepower, which is like the 1.5 TSI engine now, isn't it? This is nearly there, really, isn't it? And it's pretty fun to drive. I'd say it's even more fun than the Fiesta, because I learned in the Fiesta it had more body roll than this car because it was a bit higher up and it's thinner. It's a narrower car than this car. This is really well planted on the road, I find, all the time. It drives really nicely as well. And it's very simple, this car. You know, I really like how the screen is down here. It's not down low. You get ones that stick out up here like in a Ford Fiesta, and I don't like them at all. And that's on the new Golf. It is a shame. But it's a fun car to drive, it's easy to drive. It's just getting used to that. I'd say extra power, but I feel like the Fiesta felt faster because it was a smaller car. And just let's be aware that I'm only basing this off, I've only ever driven, 4 cars? So, but I know a lot about cars and the specs, but I've only physically experienced 4 cars. So they're a Fiat Sedici, which is like a Suzuki SX4, and that was horrible. My mum's old car. I've driven a Mercedes A35, which was in another video, check that out, and I loved that, but that was automatic. I've driven my instructor's car, which was a Ford Fiesta ST line, a 2018 one, and this car as well. And my favourite car is this one, obviously. And my second favourite, I was going to say the Mercedes, but I like the Fiesta, because obviously that car is going to have a space in my heart, because it's the car I learned in, it's the car I passed my test in. So what else do you need to know about this car? Well, this is the 1.4 litre TSI engine, more than enough power to suit my needs 100%, because I don't need a lot of power at all. And I don't think this is a common choice for first car, the Golf. I think most people go for the Polo or the Up, but there's no reason why you shouldn't go for it, because it's not actually a big car and it's safer as well than the Polo and the Up. So I went for that. That was one of the reasons, but I did want a Beetle. Beetles are based on the Golf. And I love the fact there's 3 doors, because I have all this space. Look at my blind spot. My blind spot's not all the way till back over there. And if you're tall, this is a big thing. But for me, it makes this car feel like quite futuristic and quite a nice cabin for me to be in. It's really designed for the driver, and it feels like that with the 3-door. It's more of a driver's car rather than for the passengers. I really like the parking sensors on it as well. The front and rear parking sensors is really good to have. This car, when it come out, this car would have cost £21,500 or £22,000, which is what a new Polo costs now, if you spec it to the same specifications with parking sensors on the front and back, navigation, air conditioning, all that stuff. So a 2018 Golf, this one, costs the same price as a 2021 Polo, which is mad. It's mad. So it's kind of nice in a way to see that these are actually retaining their value better, because the fact that I bought this for £13,000, I mean, that's a lot of money on a car. I pay for that on finance, but now it's worth about £16,000, 15, 16,000. So that's more than paid for my finance as well, which is great, you know, because finance costs a lot of money too. It's more than paid for that, so it's great, and they keep the value really well. Especially this 7.5, these go like hotcakes when they get listed. Someone will buy them really quickly after they've been listed because they're such a good car, and they don't like the 8. And I think that's a lot of people buying it. A lot of people are buying it instead of buying a new car. I would never buy a new car. I was not in the market for a new car, but a lot of new car buyers buy one of these because it's an alternative to a new car, and it's so familiar, and yeah, I think that's the familiarity that people like. Golfs have been very similar to this since, bloody hell, blinding me. Golfs have been very similar to this since like 2004. They've been very similar, and that's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's better just to keep things how they were, because, you know, don't reinvent the wheel. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I think everyone's had a bit of an outcry about the Golf. 8 because they're so used to this style of golf. They're so used to the screen being in this position. They're so used to how the steering wheel is. They're so used to the buttons and the functionality and the option of 3 or 5 doors. The Golf 8 does not have that. It's like a different car. And a lot of people get annoyed about the sort of praise for the Golf because they seem like everyone loves it, but they love it for a reason, and I love it for a reason. Like I say, if I didn't love this car, then I wouldn't have chose it, would I? Like, I chose it for a reason, and I chose it because I love it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe. I know it's a different video because it's my car, but I try to not be biased on any car, and there's obviously downsides to this car too. I'll see you in the next one.